election process, so we'll use the city council process. The process dictates that commissioners shall elect a chair for a term of 1 year from amongst themselves at the June meeting or as soon as possible thereafter, or upon vacancy or resignation of the commissioner filing the chair or vice chair position. For tonight, I'll call for nominations for chair. If there's only one nominee, it is appropriate to make a motion and obtain a second to instruct the deputy clerk to cast unanimous ballot for the commission, for that nomination for chair. Approval is by majority vote of commissioners present. Elections will continue until chair is elected by a majority vote of the commission. Okay, I will now entertain nominations for commissioner to serve as chair. Are there any nominations?
Can you nominate yourself?
You can.
I nominate myself, Suzanne Czar, as chair of the commission.
Yeah, seeing that there's only one nomination, is there a motion for Commissioner Czar to be chair?
I motion that.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll second that. It was moved by Commissioner Oskevich and seconded by Vice Chair Xu. I will now conduct the roll call vote. Commissioners, please turn on your microphones.
All right, I will call the roll call vote for you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice Chair Xu,
A.
Commissioner Czar,
Aye.
Commissioner Ushkevich. Aye. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's Uskevich.
Uskevich, thank you. It's very important to me that I pronounce things correctly, so thank you for your patience. And Commissioner Grambois.
Abstain.
Okay, 3 of our commissioners voted in the affirmative and the motion passes.
So the result of the roll call vote, Commissioner Czar as chair, congratulations. The second item of regular business is to review and consider approving the July 3rd, 2024 minutes. Commissioners, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 3rd, 2024 meeting?
I move to approve the notes.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Czar and a second by Commissioner Uskevich. Deputy Clerk, please conduct a roll call vote.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Vice Chair Xu,
Aye.
Chair Czar,
Aye.
Commissioner Uskevich. Aye. And Commissioner Grambois.
Aye.
Thank you.
The motion passes and the minutes are approved. The third item on the regular business is a study session for the Design Standard Review 25-002 to review and discuss a proposal to repaint the Extra Mile building, replace one exterior illuminated sign, and replace the face of existing freestanding sign. With us tonight is to discuss this item is Code Compliance Planner Grace Manahan. Welcome, Grace.
Hello, good afternoon. So as mentioned, it's the Extra Mile located on Sunset Highway, proposing some new replacements for wall signage, as well as new exterior paint on all sides of the existing building. With us tonight is Nicole Evans, the applicant's representative. Deb, could we move Nicole to a panelist position so she's able to share her screen and present?
We're doing that right now. Thank you.
Thank you. So Nicole, if you're able to, can you share your screen and just walk through the proposed design, and then we can have a discussion about it?
I sure can. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So this is the proposed project at Extra Mile located at 7655 Sunset Highway. Extra Mile is proposing across the board at all their locations repainting of the exterior building. So I'll start with that. They have They're going with two paint colors. They have Shaded Whisper and Statue Garden. They are trying to modernize it, make it look a little bit cleaner. So they're proposing that on all exterior surfaces of the building, including this little courtyard area right here. They will also be painting the trash enclosure to clean that up a bit too. Nothing will be happening with the gas canopy or the freestanding sign. As far as the sign work that's being proposed, they are proposing their new logo, which is the Extra Mile sign. This is a illuminated wall sign measuring 12.4 square feet. It's connecting to existing electrical. And the face replacement is also their new logo, which is 2.8 square feet. Does anyone have any questions for me?
There don't appear to be any questions from the commission at this time.
Wonderful. Is there any questions, Nicole, you have for the commission or any other points that we'd like to discuss in regards to the extra mile?
Not so much outside of this, out of the scope of work. I just want to make sure that after this step, we just move forward. There's one more meeting that needs to be held, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And then after that, do we resubmit for permits?
Yes, so once after the next meeting, then you'll submit for the building permit, correct?
That's all I had.
Perfect.
Cool, thank you. The final item under the regular business is a study session for design standard review 25-003 to review and discuss a proposal to renovate the Encounter Church. The scope includes the demolition and renovation work in addition to expansion of the narthex. Grace Manahan will also be discussing this item. Welcome again, Grace.
Hello. I believe we do have some applicants or representatives present at the community center.
If you'll just give us one moment, Grace. One of the representatives is going up to the podium now and will respond to questions.
Grace, can you pull up our plans, our plan set that we submitted? While she's pulling that up, I can just introduce myself. So my name is Brad Austin. I'm with the project team. I'm the project manager at Herbal Architecture. And then can you go to, let's see, the proposed plan, which is on sheet. Yeah, it's the next couple sheets. It's sheet 1.0 or 1.10. There you go. Okay, so yes, like was mentioned, this is the proposed project is renovation, interior and exterior renovations for the Encounter Church. So what you're seeing right now is the level 1 floor plan, just to kind of help explain what the scope of work of the project is. So a lot of the work primarily will be interior work, but there will be some exterior work, which I'll be going over. So there will be an addition to an expansion of the narthex, which is that central space that you're seeing that connects the sanctuary and the rest of the church. Yeah, where Grace is circling with her mouse. So that footprint will be expanded by approximately 1,000 square feet. And then the rest of the exterior work will be focused on just repainting the exterior materials. So the brick and the wood siding. Can you go to the next couple of sheets that show the elevations? There you go. So The narthex expansion is what you're seeing there is that it's kind of in the center of both of those elevations. Yeah, where she's circling her mouse. So the proposal is showing is a totally new addition for the narthex, where we're envisioning raising the roof of the structure and then expanding the footprint with glass curtain walls. And so this new structure would really focus on the entrances for the church and really kind of highlight where obviously the people would enter and exit the church. We also took a look at what you're seeing on the elevations is a new color scheme. Like I was mentioning, painting the existing brick and the wood siding. So we were trying to go for a very neutral and natural color scheme to really kind of modernize the existing elevations. So we were really focused on kind of creating a more clean and modern look with this expanded narthex that's really kind of this glass box that highlights the entrances. And then the contrasting neutral colors help kind of modernize the elevations. We're also envisioning, if you can go, Grace, to the next couple slides that show, there you go, the exterior rendering. We're thinking this new roof structure could have large overhangs with protruding beams out of the glass curtain wall to really kind of, again, show this more modernized look for the church. What you're seeing here is a rendering from the parking lot. So what would probably be the primary entrance for most people entering the church for service. And then one kind of last final note is that we're also thinking, you know, we could use some other materials at the exterior soffit of this roof overhang, like some nice wood like tongue and groove soffitting. Any questions?
Right, we mentioned the other colors that we have, which is sparkling colors.
Yeah, so you can kind of see them there towards the right there next to those windows against kind of the darker siding, but we're envisioning adding a couple areas of color that match or coordinate with the Encounter Church's logo, just to kind of bring some pop of color, a little more interest to some spots in the elevations. What you're seeing there is kind of this lighter green color next to those that window, or it's kind of right to the right of the narthex entrance, up on the upper floor.
Would you repeat the question that was asked, please?
The question was to speak about some of the other accent colors that we're proposing on the elevations.
When you bring up the soffit, is this a meeting where we would say, and this is a question for, with the soffitting, you speak of the nice tongue and groove soffit. So when we talk about that here, is this actually something that will be like really come to fruition, or is this still a hypothetical, like talking about the soffitting? My question is, I like the sound of the wood soffitting, so I would hope to see that continue forward.
Yeah, we're still talking about it. It's still hypothetical at this point, but it's what we're still considering as part of the project.
And can you pull up another elevation where we can see those color panels a little better? I feel like maybe it's just I'm sitting too far away from the screen in the back. Thank you.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
there we
good
go.
one.
There we go. And what material would that be? Those color panels?
That's the existing wood siding
Okay.
that we're just repainting.
So the darker material is wood, painted wood.
Correct.
And in that
yeah.
rendering, it looks pretty smooth. So I just want to make sure it's not proposed as a fiber cement?
It's not, no, we're not proposing
Okay.
to replace the existing
Okay.
siding.
Are there any existing photos in the packet?
Not in the packet, no.
Oh,
I was looking on Google, I was looking on Google Maps.
Yes. That's
Thank you, Vice Chair, for being resourceful. That's helpful.
I have a question about the expanded main entry area. It looks like it's proposed as a flat roof. And with, is there a skylight right in the middle?
Oh,
Is that what
yes,
that
yeah, sorry, I
is?
did not touch on that. So yes, we are proposing skylight in the center of that, yeah, the expanded narthex. So that's, you can kind of see it in this elevation, but Grace, if you can go to the floor plan view, we have, we're showing what we're thinking the cutout in the ceiling could be for the skylight, which is matching the two intersecting circles of the Encounter Church's logo. You can see it on the floor plan view. If you can go back, level 1 floor plan. It's, yeah, back a couple of sheets.
That'll further enhance the indoor-outdoor naturally lit space, I'm assuming.
Exactly, yeah.
Architecturally trying to break down the walls a little bit so it feels a little more natural.
Yeah, and a lot more open, especially in a space where obviously a lot of people are going to be coming in and out of the sanctuary. So there's just going to be a lot of people in that space. So of course, having it feel really open, taller ceilings is going to be a lot nicer for the users, for the church service.
Can you maybe expand a little more on why otherwise a flat roof? I was just curious if maybe adding a little slope could give you a thinner fascia around. Once you start building up a flat roof, it gets pretty thick for drainage.
The flat roof was really, I mean, it's a couple of things. It's to give it that more modern look, to kind of set it apart somewhat from the existing church structure, but also to help tie it together and just give it a more modernized look. But it also helps achieve the skylight feature that we would like to have. That'd be a little more difficult with a sloped roof. But really, it's that combined with the glass curtain wall really just gives it that more modern look that we're looking for, or contemporary really look that we're looking to achieve.
And I do have the Google Street View if we would like to look at the current structure.
Yes, please.
So
Yeah, so you can see they already have, it appears somewhat as a flat roof now. So really, we're kind of in keeping with what they have, but really just enlarging it and just really updating.
I'm Chad Lorenz. I'm a principal at Herbal Architecture, and I just want to kind of expand on sort of the ideas behind all this. The church is really looking for kind of a gathering space outside the sanctuary where people can linger and talk and communicate. And right now, if you've ever been there, it's really dark and really low and doesn't fit their congregation. So this is a huge improvement to what is there, and they think it's a really welcoming front door to the community. Obviously, the parking lot's on the backside, the community is more on the outside, but they feel like they can really draw in a lot of potential new members by just presenting themselves a little better to the community. And as far as the flat roof is concerned, one of the things we have to mitigate is there's windows on the, I guess would be the east side, where there's some classrooms and multi-purpose rooms. So we're trying to keep they want some height in there just to make it feel better in that sanctuary, but they also don't want to cover the windows that are facing it, and then obviously not compete with the sanctuary special roof. So It's kind of the non-room, right? Where you kind of have the glass on both sides and the floating roof.
I have a comment. I've acknowledged this church a few times more recently, like it became aware to me in last year, and I really enjoy the facade. I also like a dark facade color. I would just hope with the painting it darker, like as you guys know, that like, the contrast of the shadows of the wood, it might not pop as much, which would maybe cause it to lose some of its like cool textural features. So I don't necessarily think that's what would happen. I just want to acknowledge that that facade I find to be beautiful, and I hope that you guys continue to
Yeah.
hold that true. I am less loving the pops of color because I feel like they might just be like a painted on application to bring identity to it. When there's so many ways to bring identity to a building. So moving, my opinion forward would just say, I think I'm cool with the darker color. I'm less keen on the pops of color for identity's sake. But
Sure.
that's just opinion.
We kind of went back and forth, and I think when you look at the facade as a whole, and we're not planning on really changing it, right? We're just really, what you see in this, it's a very monochromatic palette, very monochromatic. Even though the bottom's brick and the top is wood, it's a vertical wood siding. And to your point, I don't know why this is sounding very, okay. There's a textural component to it. And what we're really just trying to do is enhance the two different materials, because right now the interplay between them doesn't really distinguish the two. And I don't know if it's worth pointing out, but like the Pagliacci across the street is very striking, nice. And the Pastor Michael pointed that out right away and said, we really like the look over there. And so we're not trying to be Pagliacci, but what we identified was there's much more contrast in that building than they have across the street. It makes it kind of more dull, and so we're trying to jazz it up a little bit.
Could you do something where like in those inset windows, like you could do like a interior paint or something where it's a pop of color, but it's like
Yeah.
not quite like just a section.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
might have no means to the measurement even.
Yeah, and our concern was always just like, is it too, we just have two colors. Is that fine, or should we? And we were really trying to be very restrained on the actual use of the color. So those panels are very, very minimal, but we can certainly look at, a framed opening where you see the color, more in perspective than just straight on where you're coming in. We've done this before on buildings, apartment buildings. So it's a good idea.
I just want to say, I guess my comment is, I think it looks pretty nice. Like, it looks nice. I think it's a lot lighter, brighter with the light color rendering. And I think the glass stuff, I think the glass walls, I think it will look pretty modern, and I think it'll be good compared to what we see on the existing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Was there any consideration on maintaining the brick and painting the wood with the brick as is? Or in it unpainted?
Like not painting the brick? There is consideration, but I mean, because once you paint brick, you can't go back.
Right.
And that's always a concern. And so we took a hard look at that, and, the church just really wants a new identity. And we should mention, this is a new congregation. It's a combination of two congregations that are coming together, and they rebranded and renamed themselves and really just want a new identity in general, not just on the building facade. That's just kind of the frosting on the cake, but just in general to, become the new kind of encounter church here for Mercer Island. So they wanted us to go for it, if that's fair to say, and just really kind of become a much more noticed presence in the downtown, and a more forward-thinking, modern church. And I mean, inside they got bands playing, they got all, I mean, it's a pretty cool service that they run in there. So they just want the identity to be like that. And it is kind of falling apart. So there's a lot of kind of need for, you know, leaking roofs to be repaired, and there's some rotten siding that needs to be repaired. So all that kind of has to be dealt with as part of the, you know, kind of before the painting portion of it, but to its original form.
Would new roofing be part of that scope, or are we referencing the browner roof color?
The plan is not to go into need to re-roof. It's more to kind of repair. I mean, obviously there's budgets here and, you know,
Sure,
it can
sure.
snowball. So the less is more approach. But as we get it, you know, with any renovation, you don't know until you really get in there. And so we're kind of preparing contingencies to, you know, do as much as we have to do to, you know, get this building kind of set for the future without, and getting the most bang for the buck in terms of where we put the money to, you know, improve.
So I know it's within our purview, obviously, to be within guidelines of our municipal code. And, you know, one of which is to try and create some more natural finishes that kind of integrate with our natural environments, which I think in some ways the existing building does almost to a fault for the new clientele.
Right, right.
So it's a balance between having it pop forward, but also with, you know, with restraint and intention.
Mhm.
And so I share in the concern of the painted panels.
Okay.
It feels a little it starts to go a little South Lake Union to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it feels more like more of a commercial apartment building move. And I do like the idea of doing something more subtle to bring the brand identity into the mix. And it sounds like the brand colors are those light green colors. Is that what?
It's a pretty natural
A
palette.
natural
It's
palette.
pretty like kind of light and unfortunately, all screens look different. So we need to,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
pull the exact colors for you, but you know, point taken, understood. There's certainly other ways to achieve just a little hint of color. And I mean, we're okay with taking color completely off of it, but we just felt like at this stage, it might be just a little too restrained. Just a little pop. I mean, the building's actually, over time, it's obviously been, the original building in this picture is the peaked roof in the far, back of the photo. That's the original, and then it was added onto and added onto again and added onto again. And in fact, I think they said there's like 17 mechanical systems that are at work in this thing, and they're really trying to consolidate that as well. So the building itself has been, you know, evolved over time, and we're trying to kind of bring some consolidation to it now. So we did that, and we just were wondering if it was too much, and but that's where the color came in. We're happy to not to eliminate it or to just find little places to put it to just give a little bit of oomph there and here and there.
Maybe in the signage or.
Yeah, it'll definitely be in the signage, of course.
This building came through Design Commission a few years ago, I remember. Was it for the elevator?
Yeah,
or-
they added an elevator to the left of the evergreen sign. They added an elevator to get to the second floor. So you're right.
So that work's been completed.
Totally completed, yeah.
Okay.
Going back to the brick, has there been consideration, like, it seems like you're planning on painting it, but just like a stain or like a pickling type of thing to lighten it so that it can kind of maybe take some of that like earthiness out, but still have that modern look?
I mean, we didn't really look at the idea of staining the brick. I mean, it's always it's hard because you have existing brick and then you pick stain, you figure out like how it's going to actually look. Like I said, they want to kind of, and I want to, like, the whites are a little creamier, the browns are a little bit more subdued. So it's not like black and white. This looks really black. It's not that like contrasting. If you go to the rendering, it's probably a lot better. It's really just trying to separate the two. And again, even this is quite light. And we'll bring in the actual colors, but the idea is to get some contrast, but it's not to go overboard with it. But to answer your question, we didn't really look at staining the brick. It's really unpredictable when you stain it, how it takes. I've done this before in other projects and to moderate success. Because you're taking what you're given, you're not able to replace it, just kind of what does it look like?
Right.
So
It also looks like there's different types of brick.
there's different types of brick and different, yeah. No, we did consider significantly painting the brick, like I said, in terms of, and talked with the church about, because you can't go back, and they were, I think again, the Pagliacci has painted brick on the cross street and they like it. I think it looks really good. So,
I'm not against painted brick.
yeah, but it has to be tastefully done. And again, when we go to the design review, we'll bring all the paint here so you can see, because this is really, these screens are different actually, these from my angle. This one's really bright. It's not gonna, you're not gonna need sunglasses to look at the building.
Well, it definitely looks fresher and, you know, more updated, and the addition seems pretty seamless. My comment previously about sloping the roof is minimum slope roof just to maintain a minimum fascia edge.
Yeah,
As
we'll
opposed
take,
to like bulking up for the flat roof. It was because you're with a low slope, you won't see the angle. It'll feel like a flat roof, especially if the soffit is flat.
we'll have
But-
slope. It's not totally flat. It'll be sloped, and it'll slope to the outside, and we can make the soffit thinner. There'll be insulation on it too.
Sure.
So that insulation will be sloped to drain. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we can trim down the
Just to
soffit.
knife edge it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
It
it
needs
wants to be
some-
light, but
It needs some thickness, otherwise it looks disproportionate
Sure,
to it, but
sure.
I agree, like we could thin it down a little bit to make it just a little narrower.
but it's otherwise like very tectonic next to like how massive the brick sanctuary is, and that it's seen on all sides, the
Mhm.
sanctuary. So that particular color of brick or paint, however you lighten, it's going to be pretty crucial.
Yeah.
That's kind of the curb appeal of the building. And I think, are romanticizing the brick color a little bit. There's always more of an nostalgia, and it starts to date it a little. I don't mind painting the wood, but the brick is something that for some reason, especially encasing the sanctuary, that feels a little more precious in my mind, but
Mhm.
but I'm sure with the right contrast, it'll look very clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as you can imagine, with two congregations coming together to form a new, they just, they just want a little bit of a new identity.
Sure.
And so I think that's why we've kind of settled on painting it, is just to really give it that the future.
Futuristic, yeah.
Yeah, the future instead of, but we're sensitive. We've read all the guidelines and, make sure that it's tasteful in terms of its setting within this, nice wooded area.
Just based on public commentary over the years, it just feels like the white finishes tend to be reacted against more.
Sure.
Just, I don't know, it just feels less integrated with the site. And so it might just be the screens. kind of
Yeah, it's not
gesturing
that
So
light,
If it's
yeah.
got a nice warmth to it and
Yeah.
freshness at the same time.
Yep.
And then maybe calibrating that with the darker color,
Mhm.
having that be not as contrasted in some ways.
We'll bring back, like I said, we'll have the samples for you from the final design review to, you can look at the actual, to make a final decision.
I like it. I think there are a few projects that do have this color scheme in our downtown area. For one, there's a little building behind the Jacksons gas station, and I think like the Mercer Island Golf Club building has something similar. And I think they're very modern and tasteful and look good. In an interesting way. Like they might not be a big project or anything. But I like what you're doing here. I think I can see this looking really good. I think I still really enjoyed the wood of that material. So it going black, like I said, it will look really good, but at the same time, like, oh, what if we were to leave the wood? Like, where you like the brick, I like the wood, okay.
Well, you can see in here like we actually have the kind of
Yeah.
pattern which is existing. And so you'll always kind of see that. I mean, it's painted now.
Yeah.
It's not,
It's
it's
not the
not,
original.
it's not, no,
Yeah.
it's painted. And so we're just painting it a little bit darker color.
Yeah.
And it's not black we're proposing. It's more of a brown, darkish brown
Okay, yeah,
color.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of, I think would look really good,
Yep,
so,
yep.
so I like it, I think it'll be a nice change for the congregation.
Will there be a floor treatment or pattern that will also flow in indoors and outdoors? Will it feel kind of like outdoor?
I think, one of the ideas is to do kind of a polished concrete, which would be, I mean, the whole point of putting curtain wall is for the outside to come in and the inside to go out. So, we just imagine this as kind of a floating roof and that the curtain wall is, the most minimal enclosure we can get. And that like you said, the concrete will just kind of flow through the whole space. Plus it'll be low maintenance and, for our dark, wet winters that everyone's tracking in. So, yeah, that's the point, is that it flows through all the way through the building and to both sides.
Nice.
Any other comments? No, well, thank you. for
Thank
the
you very much.
presentation.
Thank you both.
This brings us to other business. Welcome Planning Manager, Ryan Harriman.
Thank you, Commissioners. Ryan Harriman, Planning Manager, City of Mercer Island. It's a joy meeting you in person compared to our normal virtual meetings that we've had for so many years here. So it's exciting to be able to do that here today. A quick update on some projects that we have going on. You had a project that you had a study session for an apartment structure in the downtown. There's been some modifications to the proposal based on an easement that was located on the property. They are coming back to the Design Commission here in the future for their formal review process. Other than that, there is Covenant Shores is coming back with their design review process, so we can have a couple fairly large meetings on those projects coming up. Regarding the code amendments and everything that's going on, we've been very busy in that. We have a ton of work going on right now with code amendments and getting things up to speed. As I mentioned before, the Design Commission statutes that the state legislature basically mandated us to change. They're changing a lot of things from standards that can't be subjective. They have to be objective. So look for some of the standards in the municipal code, or excuse me, in the city code, to change dramatically based on what we can and cannot do from the state statute requirements. So that is in the process right now. We've got a lot of other things going on. It's just really busy at the moment, and there's just a lot more work to do. And we just hired a new planner, and she's on the call right now, but we're going to introduce her next time because I don't want to do an impromptu introduction when she's not prepared for that. So that's all I have. I want to thank you for meeting in person and for the great presentation this evening and the great job that Grace did. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no other business to come before the Design Commission, the time is now 6:43 PM and the meeting's adjourned. However, as a reminder to commissioners, please stay seated until city staff has terminated the Zoom broadcast. Good evening.